Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickerson from Dubbo Regional Council.
Paul McCartney and Wings, a set of love songs. It's 10 to 8 in the morning, and at 10 to 8, let's head on out to Dubbo this morning. And Matthew Dickerson, good morning.
People will start talking about us, Kerry, when you start playing love songs before you have me on.
Yeah, silly love songs, yeah. Silly love songs, that's the operative word, isn't it? Hey, listen, at the last council meeting, a most important one, because, of course, obviously you've got not only Dubbo, but also Wellington in Australia Day services. You made a decision on that, I believe.
We have indeed, and of course the Australian Citizenship Ceremonies Code changed at the end of 2022 to give all councils across the nation flexibility 3 days before or on Australia Day or 3 days after you can hold the ceremony. So we've made the change the last 2 years, Kerry, where we've held the Wellington ceremony as a twilight event on the 25th of January and then the Dubbo event on the 26th. Next year, a bit of discussion around because Australia Day falls on a Sunday, so you've got the Saturday, Sunday, Monday public holiday, long weekend. So there was discussion around maybe having it on a Friday night, maybe having both on Saturday night. So that was debated long and hard at council on Thursday night. And in the end, we've stuck with what we've been doing the last 2 years, which is having the Wellington event as a twilight event at 6:30pm on the 25th of January and the Dubbo event on the day itself on the 26th of January at 8am. So we've stuck with what we've done the last 2 years. That seemed to work quite well, and so we'll go with that for another year.
Okay, now the other thing, of course, you discussed also is the amount of pets you can have on a domestic block, is that right?
It has been a topic that's come up. It's actually quite fascinating. I've been around a few different public meetings lately, just morning teas, that type of thing, and I've been amazed at how many people have said to me, I've got a neighbour that's got too many dogs and cats, can you get the ranger to sort them out? And so there's been a few questions around, and one of the councillors brought that question to the council meeting as a formal question I noticed to say, what is the limit in the Dubbo Regional Council LGA in terms of how many cats or dogs, companion animals they're called technically, you can have on your urban residential property? And the limit is unlimited, Kerry, unlimited. There is no limit on how many cats and dogs. Now, the limit is you've got to look after them so that if you know that a neighbour's got so many cats and dogs, it could be just one, but it's not being looked after properly, then yes, you can call the ranger and the ranger will come and have a look and inspect to see the condition of that animal. But if you've got a cat lady next door, and nothing against cat ladies here, but if you've got a cat lady that's got 50 cats in her house, if she's looking after those cats, then that's fine. If you've got some bloke that loves his dogs and he's got 20 dogs in his house, that's fine as long as they're being looked after correctly.
Okay, now you had a bit of an end-of-term look at how the council itself has performed over the last 3 years?
Yeah, the Local Government Act says that in an election year, which of course this is an election year, the council must report the achievements over the previous 4 years. Now, obviously, this has been a shortened term, so we had a public event on Friday for councillors to present to the community how council has gone over the last 3 years. And I don't want to try and condense a 1 hour presentation down into 1 minute for you, but in general, I'd give us a pretty good report card, Kerry. I reckon about 9 out of 10 in terms of the things that we achieved. There's a lot. When you actually sit down and break it down, and I sat down and I went through the 34 council business papers from all the business meetings we had, all the papers we had from our council meetings, and it's actually amazing how many things that you do over that time frame when you sit back and look at it.
Yeah.
And I reckon on the cutting room floor, on the things that I left out of my presentation, many councils would be proud of that as an achievement in their term of council. So in the term of council, we sat there, we had 7 of our 10 councillors can be there. Of course, one of the issues is that councillors have got jobs, so all councillors were invited along, but not all councillors can make it. But we sat there and all 7 councillors stood up and actually gave a short presentation as well. And when you look back, all of us sat around and said, wow, it's been a pretty busy, 2.5 years effectively at this point in time, pretty busy 2.5 years, but wow, we've done a lot and all pretty happy with the achievements that we've made in that time frame. The community should be quite pleased with the work from their councillors over the last term.
Now, just running out of time, just found it this morning, Old Dubbo Jail sleepover, if you can tell us quickly about that.
I'd love to see you out here, Kerry. 30th of August, we're doing a Vinnie's community sleep out, raising money to help homeless, but also to experience homelessness ourselves. And last year I did it, and one of the things is that in the jail you can sleep wherever you like. So you can sleep out in the grassed areas, you can sleep in the infirmary. Last year, I chose to sleep in the solitary confinement cell, and it was very eerie. It's not something that I'd highly recommend to people. I'd recommend them participate in the sleep out, but gee, that was pretty eerie. Just trying to imagine someone locked up in there that didn't have the ability to walk out like I did. Yeah, a pretty tough sort of environment to be in, but certainly something that's worthwhile. A group of people were there last year. We sat around, a bit like a campfire, talked about a whole range of things. Then we went and had a sleep and raised a bit of money for Vinnie's.
Some of your critics would tell you to stay there.
Maybe.
Good on you, mate. Thanks, man. Appreciate your time
Thanks,
this
Kerry.
morning, and have a good week. We'll talk to you later. Matthew Dickinson there, Dubbo Mayor.
Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickinson from Dubbo Regional Council.